Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here. I'm in Tokyo, in Japan, actually in the Dr. Emoto office. You probably have heard of Dr. Emoto's work on the water and the memory of water. Unfortunately, Dr. Emoto passed away last October.
17th.
On the 17th. Yeah.
October 17th.
Yes, 2014, and I had the privilege to interview Dr. Emoto several times, but now I'm interviewing Dr. Nemoto, who is the chief researcher here. So I'm honored to meet you in person and be here in Japan and get to understand a little bit more. I'm interested to know, what happened with the Dr. Emoto, because I think still some people are not even aware that he passed. It was pretty sudden, but also to know where this research is going and to talk also about some controversies that might be around his work. So I think it's important to address all of that. Tell us first a little bit about your background and how long have you been working here for?
Okay. My name is Yasuyuki Nemoto, and I started to work for Dr. Emoto in January year 2002, and since then, about 13 years, I have working for Dr. Emoto, and actually my job here is one of my jobs is international secretary to Dr. Emoto, and so sometimes I have been with him for his lecture tour in foreign countries. And also another aspect is because I have a scientific background, and actually I'm a doctor of science, and so I'm...
What's your specialty?
Oh, actually biology. I got a PhD from University of Tokyo in the area of plant cellular biology. And so I have the only one right now who has scientific background in Dr. Emoto's companies, and so I'm in charge of the scientific aspect of Dr. Emoto's work. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Since he passed away, is it still continuing? The research has been what has been happening?
Yeah, after he passed away, actually, we regularly are taking water crystal photographs because many people are requesting us to take water crystal photographs about their own waters. But research is actually we need a budget to do new research, and so far we just continue our usual water crystal technology, which means we just taking a water crystal photograph following the request from other people. Okay. Yeah.
And some people say, I mean, we can hear on the internet that some of those pictures, like how are they selected? Do they all form the same crystal? Because the water, can you explain the process again, first of all, of this research, and how he found out that there's some certain pattern depending on if the water is exposed to gratitude or to love or to hate or something like that?
Yeah, actually, I started my work with Dr. Emoto since year 2002, and actually the first book, Message from Water, was published in 1999, and it was before I joined Dr. Emoto's laboratory. But there is some criticism that Dr. Emoto may have chosen several photographs according to his intention. But I would say Dr. Emoto was not a scientist, and he's a man of intuition, and he's saying in this way also by himself. And even he's saying that the message from water is not science, it's art, or he said it's a fantasy. And I agree with this. And the message from water, or even our water crystal technology, is not yet a science, I would say.
It's not yet what?
Not yet a science.
Science.
Okay. And because actually last year, October, just before Dr. Emoto passed away, there was a conference, water conference in Bulgaria, and originally Dr. Emoto was invited to this conference as one of the keynote speakers, but he went to hospital, and so I went there and I gave a speech there, and in my presentation at the water conference, I gave it's a very preliminary result, but I showed some experiment in which I showed the people all the photographs from one condition. I mean, usually when you see the book, like a message from water, you only see just one photographs from one conditions. Like this water crystal photograph is, we show the label love and gratitude, but you usually see only one photographs. So there could be a criticism. But last year, in my presentation at the water conference, I showed all the photographs. Like before treatment and after treatment, I showed all the 50 water crystal photographs before and after, and I did some statistical analysis. It's still preliminary, I would say, but even the preliminary, there was a difference between before and after. And it was actually I put some small device which contained crystal, some special crystal, and I put this small like a pendulum or pendant into the water. And I checked the water crystal photographs before I put this pendulum and after I put the pendulum. So the water is same, same pure water, but before this treatment and after this treatment. And I observed 50 all the photographs from before and after, and I put all the photographs on a slide, and it's very preliminary, but I classified those 50 water crystal photographs like into 6 different groups, like most beautiful and ugly one. And then I calculated the average score. Like, if it's very beautiful, maybe I can put the score like 100. And
what makes it a beautiful crystal?
Like a 6-sided and hexagonal, like this, or like this. In this case, it's a very beautiful water crystal, like this, hexagonal and very harmonious, beautiful water crystal. But generally speaking, maybe the 80% or we could see no beautiful crystal at all. Generally speaking, even if you analyze the most beautiful water, I mean most good water, best water, but you still see no crystal at all in some of the water crystals. Yeah. And we usually check 50 water crystals from one water sample. Okay, so it's a kind of statistical thing. And even in this situation, in my experiment, before the treatment, and I compared the average score, like a average score of one class, 50 people there, and we can calculate that the average score of English, in this class A and class B, then you can compare the average scores. In this way, I compared the before treatment and after treatment, and it was a difference. After the treatment, there were more beautiful water crystals. So in this way, this is very premature or preliminary experiments, but still there is a possibility that we can make this water crystal technology as a science. Yes. But for this, we needed to do like a statistical analysis. Yeah. I mean, we needed to repeat this experiment more and more, and maybe we needed to introduce the blind experiment and so on. But I think it's promising. And if you give a very wonderful huddle, vibration to the water, and I believe the water crystal will become more beautiful. Yeah. And this is one research. I made a presentation at the water conference. And another research is I'm doing with other colleague researcher.
Where? From Japan?
In Japan. His name is Takayuki Kokubo, and he's a researcher in the area of parapsychology. And our research is because he has a very nice connection with many healers, many powerful healers in Japan. And, it's a double-blind experiment. And he asked one of the powerful healers to send the chi energy or healing energy to the water bottle. And actually, it's a little complicated, but I will put it simple. Here's one water bottle and another water bottle, the same water bottle, unopened. And healer put his or her healing energy into one of them. And Mr. Kokubo brought the two bottles to me. And he didn't tell me which bottle is which. So for me, it's blind conditions. Then I analyzed. I froze the water.
So that's how you do it. Yeah, you freeze it.
Yes, freeze it and
Do it the same way than Dr. Emoto would.
Yes, and like from one water sample, I checked 50 different water crystals, and then I don't know which is which, and then I gave back the water crystal photographs to Mr. Kokubo, and he asked his students at the university, and like 50 students, then they made a score about each water crystal photographs, which means actually the powerful healer, her intention is to make very beautiful hexagonal water crystals. And then after I took the 50 water crystal photographs from this and from the other control water, and then Mr. Kokubo asked his student to make a score for each water crystal photographs. But the students did not know which photographs are from which water. It's randomized. Then we collected all the data and we calculated the result. Then, Mr. Kokubo found a significant difference, which means the water which received the chi energy from this powerful healer showed very more beautiful or more hexagonal water crystals, which means that I didn't know which is which, and
you found the same result.
Same result means
was there a huge difference?
Not huge, but we could say it's a statistically significant difference. And so then, based on this result, we could say that the powerful healer can change the water crystals. To make more hexagonal beautiful water crystals.
But the difference between when there is a healer that does that or when we do that and send our love towards water, I mean, is there a big difference there between us doing it as, we could say, ordinary beings compared to a conscious healer that is really sending energy?
Yeah, sure. Actually, this experiment that I explained is a very new one, latest experiment. But several years ago, Dr. Dean Radin at the Noetic Science,
the opportunity to meet him. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And he did a collaborative experiment with us. And in that case, actually, in Tokyo, there was a water event in Tokyo, and Dr. Emoto led a water prayer with all the people there. I think it was almost 2,000 people in Tokyo, just lay persons. Dr. Emoto asked them to send their love and gratitude to the water bottle, which was placed at the Dean Radin's laboratory in Los Angeles, in California.
Yes.
Then, after that, Dean Radin also prepared one control water bottle, which did not receive the love and gratitude, which was placed in a different room, and the experimental bottle which received the love and gratitude from the people in Tokyo. And Dean Radin also compared the beauty from these two different conditions, and he asked the people to make a score for each photographs in a random order. Again, he found a significant difference, which means which suggests that your love and gratitude energy can change the water molecule or the state of water, so that we could see more beautiful hexagonal water crystals from this water sample.
Now that Dr. Emoto has passed away, I guess you're in charge of the research. So there's some things that are changing. This is what you're saying, or that the more integrity will be put in place.
Yeah, actually, right now my job, actually, as I mentioned, that last year there was a conference in Bulgaria, and the chairman of this conference was Professor Gerald Pollack, and he's actually professor at the University of Washington in Seattle, Washington, and he's a very generous and open-minded and open-hearted scientist. And I met him, of course, at the conference, and it's very lucky that Dr. Pollack has been evaluating, Dr. Emoto's work highly. He is respecting Dr. Emoto's work, yes. And so even Dr. Pollack is saying that based on his hypothesis, which is actually his theory about the fourth phase of water. It's quite a new theory, and based on this theory, Dr. Emoto's findings can be explained for the first time scientifically. This is Dr. Pollack's comment. Yeah. It's very nice to us, and because before, like several years ago, many scientists are against the Dr. Emoto's work because even they say water cannot have a memory. But just recently, like in the past 5 years, some scientists are thinking that water has a memory. And Dr. Pollack is one of them. And also another wonderful scientist is Dr. Luc Montagnier, and he's from...
I met, yes, at UNESCO, yeah, I've interviewed him.
Oh, wonderful, yes. Wonderful.
The UNESCO in Paris.
Yes, I know there was...
Professor Luc Montagnier.
Yeah, Montagnier, who got the Nobel Prize. Yes. Okay, that's the same person.
Same person. Yes.
Wonderful, yeah, because, I met him at the water conference also, and his work, just a recent work in the past maybe 5 or 10 years, is to prove that water has a memory, and also because he's an expert in genetics or DNA.
It's important to mention he had the Nobel Prize of Medicine.
Yeah, sure, and
it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a little technically, I don't know, but anyway, let's say he found that. Can I explain? Here is a glass of water. Okay, here glass of water, and he put the DNA in this water. Here's the DNA solution. Okay, inside this water, DNA molecules here, and he found that specific electron microwave EM, electromagnetic waves is coming from this DNA. He found this. Okay, this is a kind of step one, but then he put another glass of water which contains no DNA, just water. He put this bottle near to this original bottle contains DNA and which is emitting electromagnetic signals. And he after 18 hours, he found that this water started to emit the same electromagnetic waves somehow. It's very strange, But anyway, he found this phenomena. But then, after that, he found this is just water, materialistically speaking, just water, no DNA at all. But he put this water into the human cultured cells. Petri dish, we can grow the human cells, in this environment, in a petri dish. And then he put this water, which started to emit the specific electromagnetic signals. He put this just water into the cultured, medium in this petri dish. Then after several days, he found the DNA, the original DNA inside these human cells. Which means maybe a little difficult to understand, but this means the information of this original DNA can be transferred through electromagnetic waves into the water. And our cell, the living system, may have a capacity to materialize or reconstruct the original DNA as a material. So some people are saying this phenomenon is DNA teleportation. and which means actually we usually think everything is a material, or even DNA or our cell is composed of many different materials. In aspect, in a sense, that's true. But also at the same time, every material can be thought like a combination of frequency or a combination of vibration. Everything. We can see the world as a combination or a mixture of vibrations. The frequencies. Then this, in my interpretation, the Dr. Montagnier's experimental result is showing that here is the DNA as a material, but this material can give information via electromagnetic waves, and this wave can affect the water placed nearby. And in this time, at this moment, this is just maybe information, but we have a capacity to rematerialize the information into the matter. In this case, just DNA. With the same sequence, as the original one. This is amazing, really amazing result.
So Professor Montagnier did approve of, or did meet Dr. Emoto, and they did work on some things together, or at least they compare notes.
No, actually, it's a separate, But my interpretation is from his experiment, we could say that water can have a memory about even DNA. DNA is maybe one of the most complicated or complex molecules in this universe, because DNA is our genetic material, and Dr. Montagnier proved that even this complicated molecule, the information of this molecule, the water can memorize. And Dr. Emoto is always saying that the water has a memory, basically. And his message from water, the important point is our emotion or our prayer or our thought can affect the water.
So our vibration.
Yeah, it's through vibration. And so there is still some gap between, but Dr. Montagnier's experiment is suggesting that maybe not only the electromagnetic waves, but also our positive emotions or negative emotions might be memorized by just water. So in the future, I'm sure there can be a connection between the Dr. Montagnier's result and Dr. Emoto's work, which is not yet science at this moment.
But I would like to interview Dr. Montagnier about it, because the time I've interviewed him, but it was on the Lyme, his Lyme disease. He did a lot of work on that too.
Lyme disease.
Yeah. So, but it will be interesting to interview Professor Montagnier on the water soon. Yeah, because he's often in Paris. Yes.
Yeah, and also I may add something, because in year 1988 there was another scientist. His name is Jacques Van Benist. French scientist, and actually he's the one, maybe he who gave evidence that about the memory of water, and he published his work in Nature in year 1988, but he passed away probably, I think, year 2004 or.
No, yeah, and this is good that you're mentioning that, because he passed away very quickly, and some people say that he was. Some people didn't want him to be alive too long.
Some people are saying, yeah, I know.
How about Dr. Emoto's death? Was it a natural one? Or?
Oh, actually, about Dr. Emoto's passing away. Actually, last year, at the beginning of September, Dr. Emoto visited Shanghai, China, and I and Hiro is the second son of Dr. Emoto, and now he's president of our company. And two of us were with Dr. Emoto in Shanghai, and there was an event, and Dr. Emoto gave his presentation like 2 hours or 3 hours, and next day he got an interview, and also he finished the interview successfully. And actually, I think it was in the night, after he finished all the duties, in the Shanghai, almost at midnight, he got difficulty in breathing. And so he was taken to the nearby hospital in Shanghai, and the doctor found a lot of water in his lung, and even the doctor took out the water from his Dr. Emoto's lung in a plastic bag, and Dr. Emoto was holding this plastic bag, and smiling. There is some photo of this, but anyway, Dr. Emoto liked a joke very much. But anyway, I think it was a very difficult situation for him physically, and so then later on, maybe 1 week or 10 days later, we. Mrs. Emoto and Hiro decided to take him back to Japan, and so we asked a special agent. So some special doctor was with him, and he was taken on the plane to Tokyo, and he went into the hospital near his home actually, and then about more than 1 month he was in the hospital in Tokyo, Japan, in Chiba, Japan. But anyway, actually because from mid-September to mid-October last year, he was
2014.
Yes, last year. He was supposed to go to his lecture tour in 4 countries in Europe, and it was like Germany, UK, Italy, and Bulgaria. The final, event was the water conference that I mentioned, but he was in hospital, so he couldn't go to this tour. So I was, suddenly appointed as, on behalf of Dr. Emoto, I was asked to go the 1 month tour, and so I did my presentation on behalf of Dr. Emoto, and it was like 13 occasions to give my presentation, and then the final one was this scientific conference, and then after that I came back to the Japan. I think it was October 14th, and then October 16th I went to Dr. Emoto's hospital, and I wanted to tell him how the things were going on in my lecture tour, and especially he was worried about the response from scientists, because
was he able to talk? How was he communicating? I mean, was he
almost he had many tubes through his mouth, so he couldn't say a lot, or just the breathing was also difficult for him. But anyway,
was he writing? Maybe.
I'm sure maybe the family member got his writing, but anyway, I spoke to him, and especially the many scientists really welcomed Dr. Emoto's research, and Dr. Pollack was very he evaluated Dr. Emoto's work very much, and so when I finished my report to Dr. Emoto, I didn't know he was actually listening to my talk or not, but then Dr. Emoto said, really, literally, thank you in Japanese to me or to other family members, and because his throat or his condition was very bad, so it was not a clear voice, but for us, or he said thank you in Japanese, we could understand, and then. After that, at the moment, we thought that Dr. Emoto was recovering and on the way to recover completely somehow. And so we were very happy to hear his word. But somehow, at the midnight, early midnight next day, I mean, it was like 6 hours after I met Dr. Emoto, he suddenly passed away. So literally, his last word was "thank you" in Japanese. Yes. But we were very sad because it was so sudden.
Yes, yeah. But at the same time, it must have been a relief, I guess, and very important for him to be approved by scientists, because he had this intuition, he had this vision, was this artist, and he knew that there was something there, but might have not quite possibly put it in scientific terms, and hopefully this will be more and more proven and discovered in the future years.
Yeah. And also while he was alive, once I talked with him about this, and my opinion was that the message from water is not yet a science, as I said. There is no statistical analysis, no double blind. Actually, we did some double blind, but anyway, for Dr. Emoto, it was not science. He understood this also very well, but just recently, as I said, last year or this year, some scientists, approving or they are recognizing Dr. Emoto's work, and also even as I mentioned, Dr. Montagnier or Dr. Pollack's scientific work could be a basis for the Dr. Emoto's work.
Yes.
And because several years ago, what I talked with Dr. Emoto was maybe the message from water is not yet a science, and so there could be criticism, or this is not scientific. But our intention was when some people, or when the young people, or when the young scientists looked at the water crystal photograph, they may get inspiration. I mean, water can have a memory. I want to, pursue this possibility. Some scientists may think in this way, So to give an inspiration, not only to the general public, but also the expert in science, this may be the role of message from water. And I believe that the conclusion, kind of conclusion or vision of Dr. Emoto was true, which means water can have a memory. And if you give a bad word or bad emotion, then the water molecule, the structure is not good. But if you give gratitude, love and gratitude, then water molecule becomes very harmonious. This is Dr. Emoto's conclusion. And he's a man of intuition. So I believe that he just saw the final, conclusion or final vision. And for the science, for science, we need to go step by step. To have evidence step by step. But he was a man of intuition. And in this sense, I believe Dr. Emoto was, true. His conclusion, his message was true. But for science, we need to fill in the gap. This is another way. There is two ways, maybe logical way and intuitive way. But anyway, I believe it will go into the same purpose.
What are some, yes, thank you for all these explanations, I appreciate, and I'm sure the beautiful co-creators watching this appreciate, but last little question regarding where are you heading with this? What's happening now that he's not here anymore? Is there some specific projects that are happening or something?
Yeah. Okay, thank you for this opportunity. And one thing is because just coming July 20th, because last year, Dr.
You need to say 2015 then, or 2014, because the video stays online for a long time. So just mention the day.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, the July 20th, year 2015, we are planning to have international concert of love and gratitude for world peace in Tokyo. And it's volunteer base. But anyway, in Tokyo, we reserved a very nice hall, and several musicians they already agree to do performance for not only Dr. Emoto but for the world peace. And because Dr. Emoto wanted to have a music event for world peace, because he loves music, as you know. And also another idea is, this is kind of my own idea, but I want to make the 1 week from July 20th to July 26th as a week of International Week of Love and Gratitude for World Peace. And July 20th is Ocean Day of Ocean in Japan, and it's a holiday. And it's in this year, year 2015, it's a Monday, but it's a holiday in Japan. And we will make a DVD of this whole event, and maybe we could make a live stream, with many different areas in the world.
Maybe I come.
Yeah, sure. Please come. And also because as I said, the 1 week from July 20th to July 26th, which contains the day, the Day of Ocean. It's a Japanese holiday, July 20th, and also the July 22nd is Dr. Emoto's birthday. Okay, and July 25th is a day out of time. If you know the 13 moon calendar, July 25th, and we usually did our water ceremony on this day, July 25th, with Dr. Emoto, many times in the past, and also the July 26th is a New Year Day according to this 13 moon calendar. So I would like to make this, this 1 week, like an international week of love and gratitude for world peace or for planet Earth.
That will be announced on the website.
Yeah, and if it's possible, maybe United Nations or some organization can prove this officially kind of. And this is to memorize, of course, the Dr. Emoto, but also the more important is I want to spread the philosophy of love and gratitude. It's of course it's made by Dr. Emoto, but I want to spread the message of love and gratitude to more and more people in the world. And third one, may I mention just one more? And because last year in October, I visited Rome, Italy, and there is a group called Circle of Light. It's Italian people, and they have learned Gendai Reiki. It's a kind of a school of Reiki, healing. But anyway, they are so wonderful people, and Rudy and Francesca is the two leaders of this group. And when I visited Rome, and then when I first met them, because I was on behalf of Dr. Emoto, and I gave my presentation at their event in Rome. And the previous night, I met the staff, Rudy and Francesca, and they gave me their idea, and they want to have a ceremony or event or anything for Fukushima, radioactivity in year 2016. Probably May in year 2016, because they said they want to do something for the Fukushima radiation, or to reduce or to eliminate. And also the Lynn McTaggart, the author of the field, and we met several times. And Lynn McTaggart was at the same event, and he gave a presentation also in Rome, Italy, last year. And Rudy and Francesca said that Lynn McTaggart will come to Japan in May, year 2016. And so they want to have a collaborative event in Japan, and they will come to Japan. And it's basically for Fukushima, of course. And I was really moved by their intention. They are from Italy, and they want to do something for Fukushima in Japan. And I was really moved, and I almost cried. I cried, actually. And so I agreed, or I said that I would do anything for them. And so my intention is maybe we ask the people, not only in Japan, but also all the people, to concentrate or to send a prayer, simply like a love and gratitude, or in any way, to reduce, or I would say to eliminate completely the radioactivity, and also the pollution, any pollution on this planet Earth, completely. This is my, this is their idea, and I don't know how they would express this event. I just saying from my own, or from my intention, and also this is completely my private idea. But next year maybe we can ask the beings in the other dimension. I mean, in the higher dimension world, or the other extraterrestrial, the people, or the people under the ground. Or anyway, those high light beings, I mean, in higher dimensions, we would like to ask them to amplify the intention of us, the humanity. I mean, if we just asked them to purify the pollution, then if they did this, maybe this is a violation of the free intention, or of humanity. We cannot do that. But if we just basically, it's our intention to cleanse all the pollution on this planet Earth. And then if they just amplify our intention, maybe that's acceptable in this universe. I'm not sure, but anyway.
That's your personal,
it's personal feeling. And maybe also that I want to do something for Fukushima in my life this time, something. And this is what I could do, in my, on my heart.
Seems like you're going to be very busy the next years. Tell me, I have just a personal question though, because I keep noticing your ring.
Oh.
Tell us about that. Just a last little personal thing, because it's quite big, huh?
Oh, yeah. This is actually the...
To have a significance.
Oh, yeah. It's not a present from my, I don't know, girlfriend one first ever, but actually the last year, December, the
2014.
Oh, sorry, 2014. There is a city called Banda Aceh at the north tip of Sumatra Island in Indonesia. Banda Aceh, and it's the earthquake and the tsunami of the Sumatra. It happened 10 years ago. I mean, in December year 2014, it was 10 years ago. So there was a 10-year anniversary of this tsunami disaster in Banda Aceh. Banda Aceh got the worst damage because of this tsunami, and many people died. And so the mayor of this Banda Aceh invited originally Dr. Emoto to come to her city and to give a presentation about water. But at that time, Dr. Emoto passed away already. So we asked her if me, Nemoto, is okay with you. And then she said it's okay. And so I was invited to the Banda Aceh city, and I gave a presentation on behalf of Dr. Emoto. And the staff, all the people, they were very happy to hear or to have a communication or to have met me. And I got we became friends with many people. Most of them were men, anyway, and one of them, man, and
Man.
he has a lot of this ring, this kind of ring, and he asked me if you want to some of them, I will give this as a present to you. And then this one is fit with my finger, so I chose this one. And since then, it's a kind of memory, about such wonderful people in Indonesia. And so I have this ring. And also on the last day, we had a water ceremony of, it's a Malacca, I forgot the name, but this Banda Aceh city, we went to the ocean, beach. And there was 7 or 8 Indonesian people with me, and we prayed for the water. Water prayer is always the same. We did, Dr. Emoto read many times. It's a water, forgive us. Water, we are sorry. Water, forgive us. Water, we love you. Water, we thank you.
Like kind of Ho'oponopono.
Yes. Yeah, actually, originally, the water prayer was water, we love you, water, we thank you, water, we respect you. But after Dr. Emoto met Dr. Huren, then Dr. Emoto combined the two different concepts into one water prayer. As you said, you are right. And then we are now using these 4-line prayers. And we did this prayer with Indonesian people to the ocean, where they got a lot big damage, tsunami, and many people died. And so I felt very good, after this prayer. And it was maybe one of the memorable moments for me. And so this is a kind of memory of this situation or energy. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this delicious interview. And I'm glad we shared this moment too. We just found out that we were at the same event actually last Sunday at the Mount Fuji. And this is why I flew into Japan for the Symphony of Peace Prayer for the Fuji Declaration. It was a beautiful event here for peace, like nearly 10,000 people and people live streaming. And I want to thank again the Sayanji family for having put this together. And I'm sure there'll be many, many more. It'll be a delight to come back in July if we have the opportunity to do so. I thank you very much for this interview, and I thank the spirit of Dr. Emoto, since we're here right in the office, in front of the kind of like, how would you call this? Like in memory of him. Yes. So thank you so much.
You are welcome. Yeah, I'm surprised that I heard that you attended the SOPP at the Fuji Sanctuary by Byakko Shinkokai. It was again a big surprise.
My little kimono.
Yes. I clearly remember you on the stage, but I didn't recognize when you came to our office today. But you explained the situation. We were very happy.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for this moment, and I thank you, my delicious co-creators, for looking at this video and for sharing it, of course, and for spreading this information. I send you so much love from beautiful Japan. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here. I'm in Tokyo, in Japan, actually in the Dr. Emoto office. You probably have heard of Dr. Emoto's work on the water and the memory of water. Unfortunately, Dr. Emoto passed away last October.
17th.
On the 17th. Yeah.
October 17th.
Yes, 2014, and I had the privilege to interview Dr. Emoto several times, but now I'm interviewing Dr. Nemoto, who is the chief researcher here. So I'm very I'm honored to meet you in person and be here in Japan and get to understand a little bit more. I'm interested to know, what happened with the Dr. Emoto, because I think still some people are not even aware that he passed. It was pretty sudden, but also to know where this research is going and to talk also about some controversies that might be around his work. So I think it's important to address all of that. Tell us first a little bit about your background and how long have you been working here for?
Okay. My name is Yasuyuki Nemoto, and I started to work for Dr. Emoto in January year 2002, and since then, about 13 years, I have working for Dr. Emoto, and actually my job here is one of my jobs is international secretary to Dr. Emoto, and so sometimes I have been with him for his lecture tour in foreign countries. And also another aspect is see just one photographs from one conditions. Like this water crystal photograph is, we show the label love and gratitude, but you usually see only one photographs. So there could be a criticism. But last year in my presentation at the water conference, I showed all the photographs. Like before treatment and after treatment, I showed all the 50 water crystal photographs before and after, and I did some statistical analysis. It's still preliminary, I would say, but even the preliminary, there was a difference between before and after. And it was actually I put some small device which contained crystal, some special crystal, and I put this small like a pendulum or pendant into the water. And I checked the water crystal photographs before I put this pendulum and after I put the pendulum. So the water is same, same pure water, but before this treatment and after this treatment. And I observed 50 all the photographs from before and after, and I put all the photographs on a slide, and it's very preliminary, but I classified those 50 water crystal photographs like into 6 different groups, like most beautiful and the ugly one. And then I calculated the average score. Like, if it's very beautiful, maybe I can put the score like 100. And
what makes it a beautiful crystal?
Like a 6-sided and hexagonal, because I have a scientific background, and actually I'm a doctor of science. And so I'm...
What's your specialty?
Oh, actually biology. I got a PhD from University of Tokyo in the area of plant cellular biology. And so I have the only one right now who has scientific background in Dr. Emoto's companies. And so I'm in charge of the scientific aspect of Dr. Emoto's work. Yeah.
Since he passed away, is it still continuing? The research has been, what has been happening?
Yeah, after he passed away, actually, we regularly are taking water crystal photographs because many people are requesting us to take water crystal photographs about their own waters. But research is actually we need a budget to do new research, and so far we just continue our usual water crystal technology, which means we just taking a water crystal photograph following the request from other people. Okay. Yeah.
And some people say, I mean, we can hear on the internet that some of those pictures, like how are they selected? Do they all form the same crystal? Because the water, can you explain the process again, first of all, of this research, and how he found out that there's some certain pattern depending on if the water is exposed to gratitude or to love or to hate or something like that?
Yeah. Actually, I started my work with Dr. Emoto since year 2002, and actually the first book, Message from like this or like this. in this case, it's a very beautiful water crystal, like this, hexagonal and very harmonious, beautiful water crystal. But generally speaking, maybe the 80% we could see no beautiful crystal at all. Generally speaking, even if you analyze the most beautiful water, I mean most good water, best water, but you still see no crystal at all in some of the water crystals. Yeah. And we usually check 50 water crystals from one water sample. Okay, so it's a kind of statistical thing. And even in this situation, in my experiment, before the treatment, and I compared the average score, like a average score of one class, 50 people there, and we can calculate that the average score of English, in this class A and class B, then you can compare the average scores. In this way, I compared the before treatment and after treatment, and it was a difference. After the treatment, there were more beautiful water crystals. So in this way, this is very premature or preliminary experiments, but still there is a possibility that we can make this water crystal technology as a science. Yes. But for this, we needed to do like a statistical analysis. Yeah. I mean, we needed to repeat this experiment more and more, and maybe we needed to introduce the blind experiment and so on. But I think its water was published in 1999, and it was before I joined Dr. Emoto's laboratory. But there is some criticism that Dr. Emoto may have chosen several photographs according to his intention. But I would say Dr. Emoto was not a scientist, and he's a man of intuition, and he's saying in this way also by himself. And even he's saying that the message from water is not science, it's art. Or he said it's a fantasy. And I agree with this. And the message from water, or even our water crystal technology, is not yet a science, I would say.
It's not yet what?
Not yet a science.
Science.
Okay. And because actually the last year, October, just before Dr. Emoto passed away, there was a conference, water conference in Bulgaria, and originally Dr. Emoto was invited to this conference as one of the keynote speakers, but he went to hospital, and so I went there and I gave a speech there, and in my presentation at the water conference, I gave, it's a very preliminary result, but I showed some experiment in which I showed the people all the photographs from one condition. I mean, usually when you see the book, like a message from water, you only see